Good day. How are you today? Can you still remember the previous discussion that we've been talking about? It's all about the integral parts of the self, how you'd be able to grasp fully, especially on how to be able to deal with our own individual self-knowledge. This day, we're going to talk another topic that has something to do with the multidisciplinary towards to our self. Now, this day, we are going to talk about sociological view of self. But before that, let's try to have this kind of activity that most of us didn't know how to able to reflect ourselves, especially in this particular, supposedly as an activity, but I'll try to do this one. For the rest, if you're listening right now, just try to get a mirror for you and for you to realize further of who really you are and what you're able to see in that particular mirror. Is that really you or something behind of that mirror? The common fairy tale like this: mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I'm sure you heard the story, though a queen, oh queen, art the fairest in the land, said the mirror. Then one day the mirror said to the queen, Snow White, oh queen, is the fairest of them all. Well, Snow White became the object of the queen's hatred. The queen couldn't stand to have someone fairer than she. Of course, the story wouldn't be the same if the queen actually made an effort to be fairer and gentler than Snow White. What if the mirror had told the queen that she wasn't kind enough? In actual fact, Snow White was prettier than the queen, but let's imagine that the mirror had listed the characters that we wanted us to perform. Now, try to ask those characters. Try to now portray the mirror, the literal mirror that you have right now, and try to imagine that you are the one standing in front of the mirror. Now, what does the mirror on the wall symbolize? It's just, or rather, it just casts a reflection of whatever is directly in front of it. It's a snapshot of a certain location. It contains no information regarding the time, place, or context of anything that occurs outside of its boundary. What is reflected back from the mirror is unbiased. Theodor Adorno says, not only is the self entwined in society, it owes society its existence in the most literal sense. Self-entwined, it asserts that you have your own existence in society, and that society causes you to move since society teaches you how to live on a daily basis. It's logical, perhaps. Now, let's try to double check what are the views of the sociologists towards to ourselves. Let's continue. If you have some further question regarding the story of Snow White and the Queen, that has something to do with our own inner self, an inner conviction towards to yourself. Try to get a mirror for you to see yourself boldly and with no biases at all. Because if you have a clear vision, if you have a clear distinction while you're looking yourself in the mirror, then that's you. You don't need to wear a mask so that the people can appreciate only with your physical appearances if you're going to wear mask. Sociological view of self. According to sociology, evil, socially created standards, ideas, and values become natural and normal within a person, resulting in the development of their self-identity. Self-identity. Kung paano mo pinapakilala talaga ng lubusan yung sarili mo sa mga nakapaligid sa iyo. Let's go further. Part of the sociological view of selves or modernization has something to do with the key characteristics of modernization, organic and rational social groups, and the theory also of George Herbert Mead's. Now let's try to go this one by one. Modernization has had a huge impact on society, and this has influenced how people construct and develop their identities. In sociology, who coined the word modernization? Who do you think? The present modernization theory is based on German sociologist Max Weber's way back in 1864 to 1920 theories on the role of reason and irrationality rather in the shift from traditional to contemporary society. Ang kasalukuyan noon at ngayon, magkakaiba na yon. Pero may makukuha tayong karanasan noon na siyang magagamit natin sa kasalukuyan para magkakaroon tayo ng matiwasay at matatag sa hinaharap. Now, let's continue. What role does modernity play? While some opponents may be against modernization and the evolution of structures over time in the hopes of conserving history and culture, modernization is critical for a city's ability to evolve at the pace of society and to meet the requirements of its residents. The focus of modern society was on survival. People followed social conventions and traditions while their families and close surroundings supplied guidance on how to live. The options for where to live, work, and even marry were severely limited. Madalang. Kaya dapat pag-isipan ng maigi. However, modernization enhanced people's living situations. In today's society, people have the freedom to choose where they live, what they do, and who they spend their time with. However, when traditions and traditional support mechanisms such as the family became less important, stability decreased. Individualism is strong in modern communities and building one's self-identity is crucial. Yun ang mahirap. Kailangan magkakaroon din tayo ng matatag na relasyon sa ating kanya-kanyang pamilya. Kasi whether we like it or not, sila pa rin yun ang totoong sandalan ng ating buhay. Kung kinakalimutan mo na yung pamilya mo ngayon, hindi pa huli ang lahat. Ipundar natin muli ang totoong pagmamahal at relasyon sa bawat isa ng ating pamilya. Kasi sa bandang dulo, sila pa rin ang huling takbuhan natin. Now, what are those key characteristics of modernity? There are three: the industrialism, capitalism, and institutions of surveillance. The most obvious major traits of modernity, according to Giddens, are the following. One, industrialism is the term used to describe the social relationships that result from the significant use of material power and machines in all manufacturing activities. See, very simple. Paano ito inihambing sa ating pakipagrelasyon dyan sa ating society? Capitalism is a production system that combines competitive product marketplaces with the commodification, the price tag of labor power. Kailangan, kung kapitalista ka, kailangan maliban sa masinop, may angking kaalaman at kakayahan ka rin. Institutions of surveillance, the vast expansion of institutional power and the reach, particularly in government. How does surveillance affect you or affects us? It generates a climate of suspicion and intimidation, which can compel people who aren't doing anything wrong to modify their behavior. including how they act, how you speak, how they speak, and how you communicated or how you communicate others rather, and how they communicate others in what is known as the chilling effect of mass monitoring. The most obvious attribute of a modern civilization in this time now, it's what we call dynamism. What exactly is dynamism? When you remark someone or something has dynamism, you're expressing your approbation of their energy, of their ability to come up with new and intriguing ideas. A circumstance rather that necessitates innovation and dynamism. Minsan, mag-come up kagad yung jealousy dito. Kasi wari pakiramdam mo mas magaling pa siya sa'yo at ikaw wala kang angking kagalingan. Matalino siya sa'yo, maabilidad. Pero gayon ka din. Kaya lang, patamad-tamad tayo. Patamad-tamad ikaw. Nung nalamangan na ikaw ng kasamahan mo, nang nirekomenda mo na makapalay ng same work with you, ayun. The reality it says, the ego per se, ayaw mo nang magpalamang, nagsiselos ka at mag-iimbento ka na ngayon ng istorya against that particular person whom that you help with prior to that feelings that you felt right now. See? Kahit nga sa mga siblings may inggitan, katrabaho mo pa kaya, kaklase mo pa kaya, at higit sa lahat, pag puro inggit ang nasa sarili mo, wala kang peace of mind. Wala kang maramdamang totoong kaligayahan kasi ikaw mismo ang gagawa ng kaligayahan sa iyong sarili, not other people. This is only the theory of those people who are trying to help us in order for us to realize the beauty of ourselves per se. But we don't know how to appreciate ourselves because ang panay na sa utak natin, inggit, paghihigante, puro negatibo, very pessimistic way of thinking. Why we cannot try to adopt of being an optimistic one now? Let's continue. Dynamism is defined as a high level of activity and advancement. Life in a modern civilization isn't a fixed route with restricted options depending on location, family, or gender. It's culture full with options, either to follow the culture that you have right now or to reject the culture or to enhance the culture or to preserve your culture. The important is your family still have the eagerness to be with your family, to be with your friends, and to be proud of who really you are. If you feel something that different from your gender, then don't get sad. Face. Mas maganda nga yung sinabi ng from the very introductory, mirror, mirror on the wall. O, di ba? Tingin ka kagad sa salamin. Oh my goodness, this is me. I'm so handsome. I'm so beautiful. But how about the attitude? Is it coherent to your handsomeness and being beautiful? You need to think it over before you must be proud of. It's good to be humble and always feet on the ground. Now let's continue. Everything is prone to change, and changes are occurring at a rate unprecedented in human history. So hindi natin yan nakikita, hindi natin namamalayan, pero naramdaman. Minsan may natatandaan pa natin, but oftentimes kinakalimutan at pinagwalang bahala. Everything is prone to change. Nagbabago tayo araw-araw. Bawat segundo, may pagbabago yung ugali natin. Moody tayo, happy tayo. Pag may pera, nagbago na lahat ang direction. Hindi ko sinasabi lahat. Pero yung madala na makakuha ng pera, pag makahawak ng malaking pera, aba, akalain mo kung sino na umasta. Hello, nakalimutan mo ata yung sarili mo ngayon. Tipid-tipid naman kung may panahon. Baka bukas, nakatunganga ka na lang. O, di ba? Pahalagahan din natin yan sa ating sarili. Attitude pa rin yun. Tandaan natin, we are talking about self. We are not talking beyond ourselves. We are talking on how to define ourselves so that we can able to embrace ourselves in the future, not only the future, but now. And we can enhance this to the next generation of the people, the whom that we're going to meet. Mas mahalaga pa rin yun. Nakilala natin yung sarili natin sa maagang panahon para manirahan tayo ng matiwasay sa puso't isipan. Okay? Now, the third one is the organic and rational social groups. Okay? If you can still remember, we have been talking now, that one is the modernization. The second one is the key characteristics of modernity. And now we are going to talk about organic and rational social groups. An organic group is one that forms naturally and is heavily impacted by your family. According to sociologist George Simmel, you join these clubs because your family is already a member. He referred to it as an organic motivation. Kasi nandiyan niya yung pamilya mo. You're already motivated. Now, no need that someone will going to motivate you because it's already there. Kumbaga, ayan na. Andyan na. I-refine na lang natin kung paano natin palalaguin at ituwid na dire-diretso. Organic group have a good effect on rootedness. According to Simmel, this indicates that the social network's basis is solid, providing the individual a sense of belonging. Hindi ka na mawawala ngayon. Alam mo na, may direction ka na sa buhay mo. Ito yung pamilya ko, sila yung kaakibat ko, sila yung kakampi ko, sila yung sandalan at huling tatakbuhan ko. If ever I can face a short difficulties or untoward difficulties in my life, ang importante, sulit pa rin sila sa'yo. Kahit nagbago pa yung ugali mo sa kanila, itong tandaan natin. Tandaan mo, pamilya mo pa rin, ang huling takbuhan mo. Kahit sabihin mo marami kang kaibigan, hindi lahat. Hindi ko sinasabing lahat-lahat. May mga kaibigan ka lang, pag may nakukuha sila sa'yo at napapakinabangan ka. Pero sa oras ng kagipitan, bira ka lang makakuha ng genuine attitude of your friend na hanggang sa paghihirap mo, andyan pa rin sila. Paano pag wala na silang mahut-hut sa'yo? Saan ka na ngayon tatakbo? Kaya alagaan mo, pamilya mo. Sila pa rin yun ang totoong kaibigan ng iyong buhay. Habang buhay, walang forever. Bakit may forever ka ba? Iniwanan ka na nga eh. Mag-isip ka rin. Huwag padalos-dalos. Okay? Now, let's continue. Organic organizations, on the other hand, suggest less freedom and greater social conformity. Ayan. Ito na. Sa mga organisasyon na to. Mahirap, pero masaya. In today's society, rational groups exist. Self-interest drives the formation of rational groupings. Furthermore, people join these groups voluntarily. So hindi ka pinipilit. Ikaw lang nag-volunteer. This is what Simmel dubbed reasonable motivation. Greater freedom, especially freedom of mobility, is implied by rational groupings. So kailangan hindi ka mapilit. Ikaw lang mismo talaga ang mag-join. Kaya sa lahat ng organization na dadaluhan mo, especially if you're going to talk about society, kailangan hindi ka napilit. Voluntarily mo binigay yung sarili mo para sa organisasyon na yun. Kasi alam mo may kakayahan kang pwedeng maiambag. May puso kang marunong maumunawa at magmahal. Huwag lang magmayabang. Always fit on the ground. Now, let's continue. Self-interested connection, on the other hand, are less deeply rooted than organic partnerships. Kasi pag sinabing rooted, pamilya talaga yan. Iba kasi yung mga kaibigan. Iba yung third party kaysa family natin. Interests fluctuate and group members change with them. The connection between reasonable social networks is shaky and the person has no meaningful relationships. Ito, mahirapan ka. Pag hindi na nabigyan ng magandang kahulugan ang totoong relasyon bilang magkaibigan, bilang katrabaho, bilang kaklase, bilang mga guro na tumutulong sa online classes, pag hindi natin na-appreciate yun, maging walang saysay lahat. Eh bakit? Na-appreciate niyo ba ang pinakaunang guro nyo sa buhay ninyo? Kilalang kilala pa ba yung mga magulang nyo? Tandaan natin, sila yung pinakaunang guro natin. They are our first teachers in our lives. Pero pinagbawalang hala din natin sila. Naging walang saysay yung mga tinuturo nila sa atin kasi pasaway na tayo ngayon. Kumbaga, naging sutil tayo dahil sa mga maling barkadang napili natin. Then, George Herbert Mead's theory, the last part, has something to do of the theory that he's trying to portray and to share with us. Being a sociologist, just trying to help us on how can we indulge ourselves in the society. The theory of social self, how you'll be able to socialize with other people. Our self is the product of social interactions, actions, and internalizing the external. For example, other people's view along with one's personal view about oneself. Paano nila nakikita ang sarili ko, paano yung nakikita ang sarili sa iba, at paano nakikita mo yung sarili mo, ng sarili mong mga mata sa pamagitan ng salamin. Eh paano pag walang salamin? Try to reflect how you can able to justify your attitude. Now let's try to have these stages of self-development, the language. One expresses himself and comprehend what other people are conveying. Nahirap tong lingwahe. Kung ano yung mga chubanes, etyos. Ito yung mga gay lingues, mga lingwaheng pakanto. Minsan ginagamitan natin yung mga parents natin ito. Gumagamit tayo ng mga akantong lingwahe na hindi lang naintindihan. Hindi man lang natin ma-interpret. We must be fair enough to our parents, to our families, to our siblings. Kung gagamit man tayo ng mga akantong lingwahe, siguraduhin yun din ang tinuturo sa atin mga magulang. Hindi naman. Gamitin ko ano yung tinuturo, palaguin kung nakakatulong. Pag walang bahala o isa tabi natin, kung ito'y nakakasira sa atin. Ganun na yun. How about the role play? Okay? Ikaw ang anak ngayon. Ako ang papa mo, ako ang tatay mo, siyang mama mo, siyang ate at kuya mo. Pero baliktad. Bakit kailangan si mama at papa pa ang magbow at maggalang? Magandang gabi anak. Oh, kumusta? Kumain ka na? Baliktad ng mundo ngayon. Ang mga anak, minsan wala na mga respeto, hindi ko sinasabi lahat. Nakatungtong ka lang ng kolehiyo, college, akala mo sino ka na? Mali pa rin yun. Huwag baguhin ang pag-uugali sa ating kinagisnan. Yung pamilya natin, sila yung nagturo sa atin ng tamang asal. Huwag kang magpadala sa maling asal at pag-uugali ng mga barkada mong napili na siya namang hindi nakakatulong din sa'yo. Okay? Life is just like a game. Minsan natatalo ka, minsan nananalo. Mas masarap pag neutral ka lang. Para pag nadapa ka, ay madali ka lang makabangon. Huwag pa naisiping champion ka. Because in every race, in every game, hindi lang ikaw ang nag-aasam na mag-number 1. Dami kayo. Kaya nga siya tawag na game. It is not a matter of the game. It's a matter of how you played the game. O, di ba? Ganun na yun. Then account societal rules. Ano yung mga batas na dapat natin sundin dyan sa society? Bawal dito, bawal doon. Huwag kang lumabag. You must be the role model. Then George Smith emphasizes so much the interactive phase of the self, the me. Oh, ito na yun. Ikaw na talaga to. Me, the product of a person, has learned while interacting with others and with the environment. Paano ka nakipaghalubilo, nakikitumo, nakipagkapwa-tao dyan sa sosyedad mo? Pag sabihin mong nabubuhay ka na wala yung society mo, okay lang. Hindi kita pipilitin kung ayaw mo kipaghalubilo, pero huwag kang maghingi ng saklolo pag nangangailangan ka ng tulong. Kasi ang unang makatulong sa iyo ang iyong mga kapitbahay, ang mga taong nakapaligid sa iyo. Kaya mabuti sana ang pinapakita natin pag-uugali para sa kanila upang sa gayoy, busilak din ang pagtulong nila sa atin at sa iyo. Okay? Comprised by learned behaviors, attitude, and expectations. So ano yung mga natutunan natin pag-uugali, yung tamang pag-uugali, do not expect too much para hindi ka rin masasaktan. Kasi mag-expect ka lang ng less, pero maganda ang resulta. Pag mag-expect ng mataas, pangit naman yung resulta. Di ba masaklap? Exercise social control over self. Oo. Pag ikaw ang leader, you must remain humble. Pag pinili ka, huwag magmalaking ulo. Nanatili ka pa rin feet on the ground. Huwag mong sabing magaling ka pa sa kanila kasi hindi lahat na sinasabi mo ay naniniwala sila sa iyo. Mas masarap, huwag mong sabing ako ito, magaling ako. Mas masarap pag marinig mo galing sa ang galing mo naman, inggit ako sa iyo. Sana hindi ka magbago, maganda ka na pagka-leader, magaling yung pinapakita mo sa yun ang dapat mong marinig. Hindi yung self-proclamation, pangit yun. Okay? See to it that rules are not broken. Ikaw yung leader, ikaw yung hindi mag-break ng rules. Ikaw yung magpapatuloy para maging role model ka at magandang halimbawa sa kanila. Unsocialized and spontaneous, di ba? Hindi ka mahilig mag-discriminate. Hindi ka rin mahilig mag-alipusta. Wala kang pinipili. Lahat pantay lang para sa'yo. Presence, impulses, and drives. Okay, magaling ka magtatapatakbo. Ganito, ito ako ngayon, okay lang ako. Physically, emotionally, well, magaling ka. Saludo ako sa'yo. Does not blindly follow rules. Mahirap yun. It understands when to possibly stretch the rules that govern social interactions. Kailangan marunong ka rin makibagay. Kung kailangan paluwagin ng batas na sinusunod mo dyan, okay. Because in every rules, there's an exemption. Ingatan lang na hindi maabuso. Construct response based on what has been learned by me. Ang importante, ikaw pa rin yun at hindi ka nagbabago. Tandaan natin the social view of self has something to do with the society. Huwag nating kalimutan ang sosyedad, laki ding contribution sa ating sarili. Makibaka, makitungo, makisalamuha. Magandang asal, magandang pakikitungo, at higit sa lahat, ang ating pamilya, ang siyang totoo nating kaakibat at kakampi upang sa gayoy, magkakaroon tayo ng matiwasay sa ating kanya-kanyang sosyedad, lalong-lalo na sa ating pamamahay at sa ating sarili. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Sino nga ba talaga ako? Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. Naway mag-iwan kayo ng mga mensaheng mapulutan din ang aral ng ating tagapakinig at taga-subaybay ng ating diskusyon. Sunod nating tatalakayin ay tungkol sa anthropological view of self. Maraming salamat. Magandang araw. God bless everyone.